This is a really hardcore, tight edit, as it should be.
I want to feel a photograph. I want it to touch me emotionally.
Of course, there's sort of visual beauty, but I want to go one more layer. I want to be able to live inside of it.
A lot of what we talk about when we try to explain why I like it gets very intellectual, but often it's that first gut reaction of, wow, that's cool, or wow, that's interesting.
I think today's edit was really more of looking at the cream that sort of had already risen and why they fall to the editing floor. It maybe just didn't work well. There was something a little better.
I think what makes an image go from beautiful and good to great, I think just first and foremost, it's technical. I mean, that's the base level. It just has to technically be executed well.
I like it, but when I see it here, I think the quality's, even if whatever they were focusing on, I think the quality looks really awful. I don't think it would hold up at all, so I'm gonna go with no.
For me, is that the guy with the orange shirt to the left of the net, you know, his shirt's clipping the thing. A photograph like this has got to be like a chessboard.
Yeah,
where everything is there and there's no foreground, and you know, sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Well, I think each judging panel is a little different, and it's really about the chemistry between all of the judges.
I have a huge respect and appreciation for Erika Larsen's photography. And I have a huge respect and appreciation for Keith Jenkins' weight and measure in the publishing world in photography. And so there was a very excellent gears that all meshed in the process. And I didn't think that the debates were hot or contested. There was a lot of great humor that played out.
I was drawn to it right away. I had to read it. I did not. Keith, did you? Boats.
It looks like Tom Cruise in Top Gun.
The one way that I find is always effective sometimes in judging situations is just to ask somebody to look at a picture again, because that opens up the possibility of, you know, taking a different look, different take.
Something, I don't know, there's something. When I got to hear John or Keith speak about why they did or didn't like them, it made me think. It challenges your perspective on why you were attracted to it to begin with.
Well, it's up to you guys. I mean, I told you why I like it, but I think you two could argue against why I like it more, too.
No, I agree with everything you're saying. You're 101% of it. I just think it's missing one tiny aspect that jettisons it into unbelievable composition.
I don't know. I think it's beautiful composition. I could live again and again and again in there. They think they're beautiful. They're like a little bit of a dance there. And then there's all this color. To me, this is where the color, where we're having, you know, people were just going in one direction and the other with some of the pictures. This is where that color works so beautifully. It's intense here and it's soft here. It doesn't look photoshopped. It's great.
I think every photograph, every image to some extent had its merit and had its weight and had its measure. It's just in the end, certain moments, certain images really touched us and touched me.
Yeah, there was this picture of the owl. I mean, from the moment I got it in the first set of edit, it was really magical. It was a moment I don't get to see owls in that way. I looked, I said, wow, you brought me in to see an animal in a way that I never have seen and I probably won't get to see. The top images were great.
The wildebeest picture, you know, springs to mind as something that had enough subtlety in it that we might have missed it had we not had that other conversation about taking the whole image in and letting it kind of soak over you and then seeing what's really in the frame.
And then the picture on the train, everyone looks really peaceful, but at the same time, it just looks really surreal and something, you know, otherworldly.
It was really the balance between the individual and the mass, and then do it, you know, in a very poetic way with color and light. You know, the overall tone of it was just very relaxing in what was a very chaotic scene. So there are a lot of things playing off of each other.
I felt there were a lot of great things that you'd like on Facebook in this whole thing.
I talked about the Facebook element because that is a ubiquitous term and a reality that we're all interacting in. I like that tree. I like that light. I like that dress. I like that photograph, right? It's a very, very simple but now becoming quite a powerful statement. All these things we call social media, or what I like to call self-publishing, is driven by visuals.
I think that the argument that somehow the proliferation of cameras attached to cell phones is somehow lowering the standards, I think is totally refuted. We are communicating visually much more so than we ever have before, and I think that's a good thing.